to build something better for the future. Our children and our children's children. Let go. I could talk about back in the day. People family, I ain't got the audio going. There we go. There we go. I'm simply just talking. I ain't got my audio going. Boom. All right, now that we got the audio going like we need to, what's going on, people family? Welcome back to My Black Universe. It's your boy Big Vic. So we're in the place to be. XAI. We gotta talk about it. So XAI has been polluting the air here in Memphis for quite some time, and it's horrible. It's a very terrible smell. Um, yeah, appreciate you, Zero the Infinite. yeah, my audio was off, but back to this XAI. So it's a horrible smell. I've smelled it. My children smelled it. We didn't know at the time when we moved here in 2025, and it's just crazy that it's been going on. And so, B1 family, I've been kind of doing some deep diving in this rabbit hole. It's actually deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper the more I go into it than I could ever have believed. So we're finna get right into XAI and we're finna talk about what it is. So XAI refers to two distinct prominent concepts. One is explainable artificial intelligence, a field aimed at making AI decisions transparent, understandable, and trustworthy to humans. And two, lowercase x, uppercase A, uppercase I, which is the AI company founded by Elon Musk in 2023, known. Oh yeah, it's been over here, Zero. It's been over here for a minute, but it's concentrated in the south part of Memphis. Um, but where was I was at? So it's a company by Elon Musk. Founded is well, he created in 2023. Remember that date. Remember 2023. Known for the Grok chatbot, and as early as 2026, merged with SpaceX to become a highly valued AI developer. So that's who it is. Or so that's who owns it. That's who created it, and that's the reason why the family is being poisoned via air pollution. So now we need to do some digging because I'm like, well, AI, who let this ride? Like, how did this get in South Memphis and no one besides the people really say anything about it? Like, it seemed like just it's a little fishy because 2023. I told you, remember that date, and we're gonna see why that date is important. So I asked a few questions, because I was like, hey, I want to know why the mayor hadn't done anything about this. Well, the mayor is not in control of that. There's a Shelby County Department of Health, and it has a director. So the mayor does not have direct oversight over air pollution or any pollution in the city whatsoever. There's a separate branch of the government, of local government, that handles that. And at the time that this was implemented, the the director of health was Michelle Taylor, Dr. Michelle Taylor, She was director of Shelby County, Tennessee Health Department from 2021 to 2025. So she was here when it was put in. Now, the crazy part is I asked a few questions because we're going to start asking questions, family. We got to ask these questions. And because the poison that's coming in from the air is these gas turbines they had put on there. Now, here's the rub. The use of temporary gas turbines at the XAI site was discussed by the Tennessee Valley Authority. We're going to get into who they are and what they're supposed to do. Board of directors and leadership when they approved the power agreement for the project. Now, these supposed to be temporary, right? Supposed to be temporary. And I'm like, well, that's crazy. These temporary uh, turbines seem to be a little bit more than just temporary. And I asked the question, well, did Dr. Michelle Taylor know about the gas turbines of XAI before construction? Here's what's based on the reports. She did not know about the gas turbines at XAI's Memphis facility before construction. In fact, from what is being reported, public knowledge timing, Dr. Taylor stated, this is her statement, to county commissioners that the health department discovered the existence of the turbine and Elon Musk's supercomputer project at the same time as the general public. Interesting. Very interesting. Because, see, now we got to get over into our dear friends at the TVA. I'll make sure this is showing up for you guys real quick. So, TVA Board of Directors 2024. We need to remember these names. There's a chair, Bill Minnick, directors Bobby Klein, Wade White, and there's others. And so when we go to this, I had to ask, I said, hey, ChatGPT, who was the TVA board of directors with Bill Rennick? Because I was trying to find out who was there at the time in 2024 when they approved it. Remember, he created the company 2023. They approved to sell him electricity via MLGW in 2024. They approved the project in 2024. So this wasn't even a proven company yet. They just knew Elon Musk's name was attached to it, and they signed off on it. So here are the people who are on the board at the time. So it's a Bobby Klein, who was there, TVA Authority. This was his role. Region served Tennessee Valley, U.S. Southeast, power generation, infrastructure, sustainability. So these are the people who create the electricity. MLGW is the distributor. Do you have a Mr. Wade White? That's interesting. Art Graham. Now, he was appointed by the U.S. president, subject to Senate confirmation. Right? Headquarters. Remember these headquarters, because that's important. So it's Art Graham. It's Mitch Graves. Jeff Haygood. And Randy Jones. Right. Actually, I'm sorry. I misspoke. That's actually 2025, 2026. So here's Bill Rennick and his crew. He was the chair at the time. Bobby Klein, he was there at the time. Wade White was there at the time. There's a Mr. Joe Rich. That's a face, boy. That's a face. Ooh. Michelle Moore. And Beth Gear. Beth, that's your name, brother? Beth Pritchard Gear. Okay, okay, that's a little bit better. I was a little, I mean, man, I was a little nervous. I'm like, your family didn't like you that much, brother? Dang. So these people who signed off on it, as you see, Joe Rich, Michelle Moore, and Beth Gear are no longer on the board, which is interesting. And what's even more interesting is this Mr. Bill Rennick, who was appointed to be Tennessee Valley Authority Board of Directors in 2022 and served as its chair, was previously a Democratic Mississippi state senator. Democratic. Because, see, I was thinking the Republicans were behind this. I was like, oh, the Republicans, boy, they got it in it for black folk. They crazy? Mm-mm. It's the Democrats. So they did this. But here's where the Tennessee Valley Authority, this is the stretch of coverage that they have. And I said, well, where's the headquarters? Knoxville, Tennessee. I gotta make sure you guys still see this. It's in Knoxville, family. It's in Knoxville, which is crazy to me. You all the way in Knoxville. Okay, it's not showing. It's not. Was it showing, family? I don't know what that is. Charles fight. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna have to delete that comment. Okay. Okay, I heard some. Let me get these comments on the page so the people fan can see it. Okay, I heard from some people over there that the politicians allowed this in there because I know folks from Memphis. Because I know folks from Memphis would have never allowed that to happen. Yes. So what it sounds like was there was some okey doke, or the left hand wouldn't tell the right hand what was going on. And let me just say this real quick. From what I'm seeing, the way the government is set up, this local government, it's very convoluted. It's almost like nobody has to be accountable for anything that's going on. Like, okay, well, we're just gonna do stuff, and if it happens, it happens. I didn't know. You can't hold me accountable, even though these people are in positions where they're supposed to be able to fight back and do something on behalf of the folk. And you would think it was all white folk. You would think it was all white folk. No, because Dr. Michelle Taylor, hold on. Let's go get this one. Our lovely Dr. Taylor is a sister. Yeah, Dr. Taylor, she is a sister. Cause I was like, man, that's gotta be that's crazy to me that this is happening and no one did anything about it. Like no one did anything about it. Like so she's a sister and she was here and then she dipped. She went uh to Baltimore. So she done took her talents to Baltimore, another majority black city, which is scary to me because this happens, you have no clue about it, and you don't really do anything to fight against it, which is weird. You know, you do nothing to fight against it, but then you find out. I don't be with family. This is where she went. I want you to see it. She went to Baltimore. This is 2025. So she could have did something before she left. She could have did something. She could have raised awareness. She could have did something before she left. However, let me go back to chat. I believe it's on Chat GPT. I asked Chat GPT, like, how come, what was going on with this? How come it wasn't fixed? Well, if you go to Chat GPT, be one family, and you ask it all the right questions, We go to sharing this window. Let's go back to sharing the window. Go back to ChatGPT real quick. Hold on. The main local authority, because I asked the question, what local Memphis government body is responsible for pollution and who they answer to? The main local authority, Memphis Shelby County Health Department, which she was the health director of at that time. She didn't leave till last year. Issue air permits. That was built in 2024. She could have did something in 2024. It did something in 2025. Enforce violations, monitor emissions. So when you found out about it in 2024 when it was built, and about these gas turbines, what were you doing to stop that? Hmm? Like what was really going on? That's my problem. Because that's really an attack on the people. That's a disgusting notion to know that when you find out about it, you really don't do nothing except plan your exit strategy to another predominantly black city to more than likely get more money because you're not going to leave a position like that to not get more money. All right, you're not just going to just save face. You're going to go get that bread. You most definitely gonna get that bread. Zero Infinite. What's going on? Yeah, but I'm trying to get better about making us do what it do. It's a little cumbersome, but we got time. We're not rushing through nothing. We finna go through all of this because it's crazy to see how all this is shared, how all this is going on. Because you would think somebody somewhere would like do something different. Like, hey, let's no, I ain't trying to do that. Let's take care of the people. You would think they would try to take care of the people, but evidently that don't matter. Let me get what I can get and move around. Now, the people who are on the board are nominated by the president. And at the time that this went up, the president of our United States was Joe Biden. Once again, Democrat, majority black city, and you got the Democrats in power presidentially. You got them in power as far as the Senate, as far as representation, the representatives, and this is going on, and nobody can do anything, and nobody's making any headway other than people. Like there's local activists that have been saying things about this, and we'll get into the NAACP later. You know how we feel about them and their lack of action. And so I'm like, well, okay, what are we gonna do about these folks? Like, who can do something? Because as of July 2nd, after old girl dipped, guess who was appointed? Guess who got put in position, and guess who did it? Facts. He did say that. He did. He stood on that. Because as of July 2nd, 2025, Dr. Bruce Randolph, MD, MPH, has been appointed as the interim director of Shelby County Health Department and health card and health officer by Mayor Lee Harris, succeeding Dr. Michelle Taylor. Dr. Randolph brings nearly 40 years of medical experience in the role. Shout out to that. Shout out to that brother. But you in office, bro. You are in office. What are you doing? So he has maintained a position focused on regulatory compliance and the official permitting process regarding XAI's colossal supercomputer. That's he's maintained a position. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That's nice. You maintain a position, but I don't see any real time action against that. Like key stances in action. Hold on, there we go. This is what we want to see. Um, Hold on, fam. This is more that talk about it, but we ain't gonna do nothing. Permit approval. The SCHD, Shelby County Health Department, under interim leadership following Michelle Taylor's departure, granted air permits for the facility's natural gas turbines in 2025. Okay, but there's air pollution. So you give permits for them to pollute the air, but there's no counteraction for the air pollution. Like there's no filters, there's no um, exhaust that could be rerouted in a way where it's not polluting the air, where kids not breathing this stuff. There's a lot of kids over there, man. There's a lot of elderly over there breathing this mess in. So you just give them permit. All right, you can pollute the air. Really? And the folk have been complaining? Adherence to the law. The department has emphasized that its decisions are guided by environmental law and that all compliance benchmarks for the permits were met. So why are people breathing in toxic fumes? Why does it stink over there? It stinks to high heaven. And it's 2025, mind you. Um, we got here in March, and we have been back on the south side like that because it stinks. You can smell it. It's horrible. Limiting public debate in December 2025 as community opposition grew because it kept growing, because it kept stinking, because it was horrible. Lawsuits were threatened. The health department declined further interviews regarding the project, including requests to speak with Dr. Randolph. So you over here doing the same thing. Michelle could have stayed up behind and off in that position if that's the case. If you weren't going to do anything. Response to criticism, despite calls from environmental groups and residents to rescind permits for the facilities in Boxtown, the department has held that they were operating within the scope of federal Clean Air Act regulations. If that was going on, family, they wouldn't do this. There wouldn't be a need for that. And remember, when we first read, these were supposed to be temporary. Temporary. They don't seem like it's temporary to me. Focus on air quality initiatives. Dr. Randolph has simultaneously urged residents to participate in other air quality improvements, such as Stop at the Click campaign to reduce. What the heck is that? What the heck? Hold on, family. Hold on, man. This wasn't even part of what I was going to go into. We got to see this. I'll bring you over here. Stop at the Click is a public health environmental initiative urge drivers to stop refueling immediately when the gas nozzle automatically clicks out. What? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Wait me one family. Let me get back and talk to y'all. I need to see y'all. Be one family. So his solution to air pollution is when your gas nozzle goes off at your vehicle, don't try to keep filling up. Don't top it off. Most modern vehicles have fuel systems or a fuel filling nozzle that is designed to trap a lot of the gases that come off of that. The old school vehicles, yeah, you had a little bit of fumes coming out, like my vehicle, something that's like 20 years old. But most modern vehicles now have it where you don't even need a gas cap. That's how well it does is at sealing the fuel fumes and keeping it inside. So his solution, Zero, you haven't heard of this? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I think a lot of what I'm finding is fluff pieces where they say stuff but they're not doing nothing. They say it but they're not doing nothing because that don't make sense to me. Most modern vehicles, and you can't tell me. See, I live here now. Most black folk are riding foreign. The majority, I'm talking about the majority, around some type of newer foreign vehicle. They're riding um, the Cadillacs, they're riding the Chargers, and you might have a handful of us who have the older Yukons, Suburbans, Tahoes, Yukon Denali's, XLs, and stuff like that. You'll have a handful of us that have those because hey, they're good and reliable. I clicked the ticket, but not that. Yeah, they don't make sense. They don't. How are you solving my air pollution issue with me filling up my gas tank? That's one of those sleight of hand. That's hey, look over there. Why they try to hide their hand and what they were doing? Because see, what I've been trying to find is where's the kickback at? See, where's the money being made at? Because see, TVA is has agreed to supply a certain amount of electricity to the data center. MLGW is the one facilitating that. So there's money being exchanged, right? And they're using, let me find it. Let me find that B1 family. They're using a bunch of electricity. A bunch of it. Let me find this real quick, B1 family. How much power does XAI Colossus use? Y'all see it on your screens? XAI's Colossus supercomputer in Memphis is one of the world's most powerful, with initial phases 100K to 200K, H100, H200 GPUs. That's how many GPUs are in there. That's a lot of GPUs, and that's part of the reason why, for those who do gaming, this is part of the reason why your GPU prices have went down, consuming roughly 150 to 300 megawatts of power. So as of early 2026 expansion plans, Colossus 2 targeting 555,000 GPUs are driving power usage towards 1 to 2 gigawatts, requiring massive on-site natural gas generators and dedicated infrastructure. I'm sorry, weren't these supposed to be temporary? So we're just gonna keep poisoning you. And the Democrats gonna keep writing their permit. Remember, Dr. Randolph was appointed by Mary Lee Harris. Let's look at the relationship. Dr. Randolph relation to Mary Lee Harris. How you know each other? So you just pick somebody randomly? This is what we're gonna do. I know. See, sometimes Google doesn't give me the answer I need. It's got that little bias. It's trying to fluff the answer. So we finna go. I can get the answer, B1 fam. Oh yeah, we finna go get that answer. We're gonna remove this. We finna go get that window. Chat GPT. We're gonna take you back over there. Mm-hmm. Their connection is professional government. So Dr. Mary Lee Harris is elected head of Shelby County. He appointed Dr. Bruce Randolph as interim director. Their relationship boss appointee. Not family. I didn't expect them to be family, not partners, just a government. No, you don't. How'd you get on his radar? Dr. Bruce Randolph. Connection to Democrats. Connection to, I don't need three N's in there. To local Memphis Democrats. Hmm. Dr. Bruce Rand. What was his role? Let me see this. You got to ask the right questions. Dr. Bruce Randolph role, because you don't just pop on the radar to be appointed into that position unless you talked about somebody knows you. Randolph connection to prior to appointed as health director. So he's external physician, public health collaborator. Okay, medical doctor. Shout out to you for doing that, brother. All right. He was not known as a career SCHD employee, not rising to department ranks. His appointment was more of an external leadership selection, not an internal promotion, which is the strange part. Because how'd you get on the radar of Mayor Lee Harris? I'm just saying, B1 family, if you got something going on this crazy with pollution, public unrest, are you just gonna appoint anybody as a health director, even in the interim? You just you just gonna any meeny you gonna any meeny miny that don't make sense. You're not gonna any meeny miny mo this. That's too much at stake. Way too much at stake. So brought in during the leadership transition, his selection came during a period where the county needed interim leadership stability. That kind of appointment often pulls from trusted local physicians, people with credibility, and a medical community, individuals who can work with county leadership. So this is what I suspect. And this is probably why they can't find the information. He was a medical doctor, which means he was operating under HIPAA laws. You can't share patient information. So there's a likelihood that Lee Harris knows of him as he's probably his former doctor, or maybe through a political advocate, somebody else who's in the Democratic Party that put a bug in his ear, like, hey, let's put this guy in. Because you can't share the information. So ChatGPT can't go get that. That's a violation of HIPAA laws. That's a violation of HIPAA Act. That comes with a $1 million fine and 10 years imprisonment. So yeah, it can't get that. Because you're just not gonna show up at my doorstep and be, put into a position like that. That's crazy to me. Super crazy to me. Yeah, they're barely talking about it on the news. I've seen one part of it, and it was real short. Yeah, it's the activists that are talking about this. It's the activists that are putting the word out, that are saying stuff. There's folks that's not even from Memphis that would come and call that out, call out the data center. Yeah, we got Blue Dogs down here too, and I can't stand Jim Cooper. I met him once, and I asked about a specific bill that the public hadn't focused on, and he looked at me like I was supposed to know. Brother, I'm with you. I don't support you party because they both got dirt. They both doing dirt. They are both doing dirt. My thing is, and we'll get into MSCS situation here in a moment. We're gonna tackle some of that. So the former health director could have did something, didn't do nothing. The interim is issuing permits for temporary gas turbines that we see. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, see, it's been a lot on Facebook, brother. It's been a lot of Facebook, and I don't know if your brother, sister, but Zero to Infinite. Um, it's been a lot on Facebook. A lot of the IG on Facebook. There's a sister I started following. She's been on it heavy, been on real tough. So I've seen it on Facebook. So I'm bringing it here. We're gonna bring it here because the B1 family needs to know about this nonsense, especially with old girl who didn't do nothing, jumping her butt. Okay, okay. I thought you was a brother. Shout out to you, brother. But her jumping the butt to Baltimore, another majority black city. What's going to happen there? Because Baltimore is pretty much in a similar state as Memphis, maybe a little bit worse in some aspects, in certain areas. But who's to say she won't know what's happening when something pops up over there? Because that's what they do. That's another way to gentrify us. Well, okay, we can't come through and shoot the place up. That's obvious. You know, People gonna fight back. It's gonna be some craziness. We got to find a way to force you to want to leave, right? So what do we do? One of the things we do is we don't require anybody to have proper paperwork. When I got here, and I'm not proud of it. My temporary tag from Texas had expired before I got a chance to get a new one, and I had it taped up on the inside because I didn't want anybody to take. Because I'm from Texas, people take your temporary tag. If it's on the outside, they'll snatch your stuff. So operating on Texas mentality, I was like, let me just put it on the inside. I had a cop whip around him. He's like, oh, I didn't see that. Hey, you need to. I know, even though it's expired, you need to have something I can see. So it wasn't even a requirement at the time. In March of last year, it wasn't even a requirement at the time. And as soon as Donald Trump sends uh, the National Guard down here, along with the FBI and state troopers, then all of a sudden everybody needs to have their tags. The Democrats said don't worry about it because there's a lot of illegals out here. There are. Democrats say don't worry about it. Then the Republicans come in and stomp down on black folk. Hey, yeah, you need to get your tags. Since you got your tags, here's a citation. Oh, you got no tags, no insurance? Yeah, we taking your whip. So what I'm seeing is a lot of the Democrats allowing things to run wild and be chaotic. And then the Republicans come in under the guise of we're going to set order and we're going to stop the chaos. They come in and smash down on black folk. Because there's no reason why black folks should be getting poisoned in here in Memphis. This is some of the best water, the cleanest water I can shower with Memphis water, and I don't have to worry about feeling scaly, having that hard water, film all on your body, feeling nasty and scaly. He's like, what the heck is this? Dang. Like, didn't I just take a shower? So Democrats let everything run wild. Republicans come in and smash down on black folk under the guise of we're creating order. We're getting it back together. And that's the game that's being played. And the problem is, the B1 family, I'm not sure if Memphis collectively has the mindset to say, yeah, we don't want a black person in office that's not going to do nothing. We want somebody in office that's going to provide tangibles. And we're going to force that. Because it's insane to me to see how this has just happened all willy-nilly. I'm like, yo, what's going on? To the point where, folk are suing, or I should say folk are trying to sue. XAI. I don't know how successful it's going to be because, NAACP don't have the best track record when it comes to black folk as of the last 15, 20 years. But that's what's going on. NAACP sues XAI for illegal pollution from data center point plant, which is crazy. This happened this year. But as of July of last year, a Democrat, or at least someone who's Democratic appointed, signed off on permits to allow them to do this on temporary, once again, temporary gas turbines, which is supposed to offset the cost of how much power they're using, even though that's not, that's a situation where it's real funny style because we'll talk about it. We're gonna get into that. I don't want to jump the gun, but yeah, South Haven, Mississippi, which is a very upscale area. For those who know Memphis, Mississippi, South Haven is a very nice area. On Tuesday, this is now mind you, this is from April 14th this year. On Tuesday, NAACP sued XAI and a subsidiary MZX Tech for the tech company's unlawful operation of dozens of unpermitted methane gas turbines. Now, mind you, didn't we just read where they were permitted to have gas turbines? So something's not right. Somebody's lying somewhere. Something ain't adding up. Now, unlawful operation dozens of unpermitted methane gas turbines to power its Colossus 2 data center in South Memphis. So that's already up. So not only is it the Colossus 1 is polluting, so that's more likely that's what happened. That's what happened. Colossus 1, they permitted that for those temporary ones. Colossus 2 now has turbines. These are unpermitted. And now it's even more poison in the air. The Southern Environmental Law Center in Earth Justice was representing the Mississippi State Conference of the NAACP and National NAACP. The lawsuit explains that XAI is illegally operating 27 gas turbines. God, dog. That's a lot. Without any air permit in South Haven, Mississippi, effectively building a power plant for its Colossus 2 data center, which powers the company's chatbot Grok. The company's failure to get a permit for its power plant, which is located near homes, schools, and churches, creates added health risks for families in North Mississippi and Memphis, and is a clear violation of the Clean Air Act, which requires major sources of pollution to obtain air permits before being constructed or operated. So here's the real B1 family. This is why they're saying something about it. See, at the NAACP, that's why I don't give them no shine. I don't celebrate them at all. Now that it's South Haven, Mississippi, there's a lot of well-to-do white folk in South Haven. Because you talking South Haven, let's pull that area up. Because there's a few other nice places in the South Haven area. Because you got South Haven, you got Horn Lake. That's a nice area. They got some money over there. Whitehaven, Pleasant Hill, Cedar View, Olive Branch is a nice area. They got some money over there. And that's just south of Memphis, literally just south of Memphis. So you know what that's about. So now it's affecting white folk. Now it's a problem. Now it's affecting well-to-do brown folk. Now it's a problem. But when there was boots on the ground activists here in Memphis saying somebody all last year and the year before, you ain't got nothing to say. This is B1 family. It's got to be us. These old outfits, there was supposed to be a way of us getting legal ramifications put against other folk, bringing issues to light. They are dead. Their organizations, what they stand for, what they're supposed to be doing, how they're supposed to be helping us is dead. That is dead. Because now this is South Haven, where there's a lot more white folk with money. And if it's hitting South Haven, you see Horn Lakes right there, Olive Branch right there. I've been there. And I'm not telling you what I think. I'm not telling you what I heard. I've been here. I've been in these areas. Folk got money down there. There's black folk with money down there. There's black folk with money that got down there, but there's a lot of white folk that got money down there too. And that'll live here in these areas and then come to Memphis and make their money. And then go back down. So that's what's going on, Hayes FBA. Brother, they can smell that. I can smell that. If you ever get a chance to come to Memphis, go to South Memphis. Over there near the Elvis Presley Drive. You go down to where the Walmart's at and all the stuff. You can smell that stuff, brother. It is horrible. It's a horrible smell. And it's distinctive. You're like, what the hell is what is that smell? What is that smell? It is terrible, brother. They're poison folk. That's why we don't go back over there because it's so prominent. You're like, I know good. And we didn't know what it was when we first moved here. We didn't know. We didn't know that was going on. And once you learn, you're like, damn, this what's going on. And you see everyone who was almost intentionally, seemingly, I gotta say allegedly dropping the ball. And it's poison black folk. And these are Democrats, or at least Democrat appointed individuals. I'm not caping for the Republicans because we see the Republicans, what they're doing in MC with the Memphis County, Shelby County School District. We see what they're doing, but they known about it. And we're going to dig into that here in a second. In fact, let's start bringing it up. Let's bring that up. Because that was an interesting situation. The whole Memphis County, Shelby County audit that they had going on. Which threw me, boy. When I listened to that, and I was like, oh, dang, okay. I didn't know this was happening. I know none of this was happening. So let me go. I'm going to grab this. I believe I got it saved under my watch later tab. So I can pull it back up. No, I don't have it saved. This is easy to find. Let's bring you guys so you can see where to go, where to find it. So you can listen to it for yourselves if you feel like doing it. MSCS audit. This was crazy. Now I listened to the whole thing. We're gonna bring it, and eventually let's bring it back. ABC 24, fair use, and fair use.
All righty, good morning, and thanks for joining us for this special streaming edition here on ABC 24 Plus, to be specific. I'm Kevin McNamara.
And I'm Yvonne Cooper. This morning, we are really talking about that audit. We have waited 9 months for this forensic audit to be complete for MSCS. That $6 million probe, those results will be announced in just a few moments.
It cost $6 million, 9 months of probing. You'll be surprised how much they found in 9 months and how much further they have to go.
Yes, we're going to take you live now to a press conference that's being put on in Nashville at the state capitol, where they're about to get started. You can see, we'll take you there right now.
Today, as you can see on stage, we have Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, House Speaker Cameron Sexton, and other leaders in the legislature. Notably for you all here, we also have Folashade Abiola Banjak from our outside auditing firm, as well as Myrtle Shamra. They're from Clifton Larson Allen, or CLA, as you may hear us refer to them. We are here today to talk about the interim forensic audit of the Memphis Shelby County school system, which was requested by the General Assembly and funded by the General Assembly last year. After the legislature did that, the Comptroller's Office issued an extensive RFQ process, and we ended up contracting after a procurement with Clifton Larson Allen, or CLA. CLA began its work in August of 2025. It's important to note that this audit has 3 parts. The forensic audit specifically covers fiscal years 2022 through 2024. There is an internal controls assessment, which involved review of internal controls, and an IT and cybersecurity section that evaluated risks that currently exist. It is important to note that today's report is an interim report. A final report will be available later this year, but specifically To the forensic audit section, it is only about 25% complete. There's 75% more work to do on the forensic part. So after that preamble, let me say that it is unfortunate, but it is not at all surprising that the work by CLA verified that there are widespread operational failures within the Memphis Shelby County schools. The failures evaluated so far include more than $1.1 million in waste and abuse, much of it related to contract spending within the school system. Another $1.7 million in spending that is not in compliance with district policies and procedures. It is notable in their work that CLA was not able to locate at least 40% of the I-9 verification forms it tested in regard to personnel in the school system.
Oh, fam, let's get front and center before we finish this. 40%. 40%. Now, what he's going to let you know is that with the young lady who's representing CLA, he's going to let you know they've only completed 25% of their audit. This is how much they found in just 25% of an audit. And what you're going to hear is a lot of similar actions or inactions of the Democrats that are reminiscent of what was happening in Minnesota.
CLA noted, and you'll see in the audit there are photos of this, they noted that the room containing these files, along with other personally identifiable information, is secured by a curtain instead of a door. In all, the report that you will see today includes 44 deficiencies related to internal controls, 51 deficiencies related to IT systems and cybersecurity, and so far in the 25% complete forensic audit, there are 79 observations. This has very unfortunately, but perhaps again, not surprisingly, been a very challenging engagement. The forensic audit has involved a huge amount of data, over 200 in-person interviews, more than 40 CLA staff working at a time. They have collected a huge amount of data, and auditors have faced delays from the Memphis Shelby County school systems providing requested information. The auditors have dealt with dysfunctional record keeping with outdated IT systems and obvious fiscal mismanagement. They have dealt with an obvious disregard for policies and procedures within the district.
Let's go back and let's listen to a key point he said real quick.
Record keeping information. The Memphis Shelby auditors have faced delays from the Memphis Shelby County school systems providing requested information. From the Memphis Shelby County school systems providing requested huge amount of data, and auditors have faced delays from the Memphis Shelby County school systems providing requested information. The audit.
Now, ain't that what happened in Minnesota when they was trying to audit what was going on? When they found them billions of dollars being misused, billions of dollars in fraud. I'm not caping for the Republicans. I'm not, because see, Republicans have a hand in this too, right? Whether it's action or inaction, they have a hand in this too. So they're trying to get this information so they can find out what's going on with the money. Where's this money going to? And Democrats like, yeah, we'll get that to you. 2 days later, hey man, yeah, call back next week. The person who handled that, they on vacation. Well, yeah, we don't know what to tell you. You know what that is? We all know what that is. How do we cover our ass? So I can keep myself from getting caught up too, so I can keep the next person from getting caught up, because they get caught up, they might flip the script and let them know what I was doing and where my money went. Now that I'm getting audited, and now we're gonna see where all this money went and what was being done with it, because that's fraud. That's fraud. But we kind of suspected that, right? Knowing the Democrats, how they move.
Auditors have dealt with dysfunctional record keeping, with outdated IT systems, and obvious fiscal mismanagement. They have dealt with an obvious disregard for policies and procedures within the district. The challenges they have faced have made this work harder, but they have also verified why this audit was necessary. Again, let me say that this is an interim report. It is imperative, and we are calling on them today. It is imperative that CLA have the full cooperation of the Memphis Shelby County school systems and for them to be able to complete this audit. Here is the bottom line, and for me, what the biggest takeaway is from this report. It is clear, and again, no surprise, that there is an absolute culture.
I'm gonna put this on screen. I can agree. You always got campaign funds. You always got it's so much dirty dealings in politics, especially when it comes to us. It's so much dirty dealings. There's too many people greasing palms. We don't know about it until there's an audit. And then that's when folks want to start turning and telling the whole truth. And it's sad that we have to literally twist people's arm to do the right thing. You know, we got to literally say, hey, I will snap your, we got to be a Batman. Black folk got to be Batman when it comes to political issues. We got to be willing to snap somebody's arm, break a pinky, or cap their knee to make them acquiesce and do what the hell they're supposed to do. And here's the problem: you put yourself in a position to be a political candidate for whatever you're running for. Like folks say, hey man, we need this, this, and this, and this. And you're like, okay, cool. I can't do all that, but I can do this, and cool. They get in the office and do nothing. Or even worse, everything we ask for, they give it to everybody else. And so now we're stomping down everybody. We exposing this. We used to be, nah, man, Republicans so bad, we ain't dealing with them. Now we're like, no, we're not caping for the Republicans. However, when they start showing information, start doing things, advocacy to help unbrainwash a lot of us to think Democrat. We can say, no, we're not moving like that no more. It's not an emotional thing. Man, he black. We got to put the black dude in there because he black. Hey, fuck all that. What you finna do for me, bro? What you finna do for me, man? What are your policies? I'm looking on your site. I see a whole bunch of hemming and hawing about a whole bunch of nothing. You saying a lot, but you ain't saying nothing. Well, we're gonna do these programs that are gonna allow this, that, and the third. No. What's specific? What you got specifically for us? Because we know we want. This is what we want. We got a laundry list of things we want done. All right, here's our grocery list. Well, I can't do it. Okay, well, you ain't getting a vote. Well, I'm black and I went to HBCU. We don't give a damn about none of that. We don't give a damn about none of that. I don't care if you went to HBCU. You could have went to all the HBCUs. I don't give a damn about none of that. What are you going to do for us policy-wise? How is our life going to get better? How is the neglect going to change? How is it going to go from neglect to acknowledgement and action, actual actions? How, Memphis we need our roads popping. The government infrastructure, the DMV, if you ever been to DMV, when I went to go get my plates, bro, that is one of the oldest, outdated, antiquated DMVs I've ever seen in my life. We basically in the courtroom, old courtroom, like old 1960s courthouse type building over there for Appleton. I'm gonna give you somewhere to go. Over there for Appleton. You got 4 people in there. You got a line of people, 50, 60 people in the line, literally going down the hallway. Going down the hallway into a room that can hold maybe 20 folk. Maybe hold 20 folk. And that's not the worst of it. That was hold on, man. We're gonna go back to MSCS, but we're gonna go here. Millington. I'll share this tab. Somebody put me on game to this. Millington DMV almost gets evicted. Yes. 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 Yes, this goes on, B1 family. Hold on.
There are new questions emerging after the sudden closure of.
Y'all can hear it, right? Let me know if y'all can hear it. I need to know if y'all can hear that. No news. Let me know if you can hear it, brother.
The Shelby County Clerk's office in Whitehaven.
That's right. A big story we continue to follow. The office on Elvis Presley closed without warning Wednesday after a complaint raised the possibility of mold being in the building. And now the city manager in Millington says the clerk's office hasn't paid rent there in years. Our chief investigator, Jessica Gertler, who's been following this for years now, joining us now live with the latest developments. And Jessica, you actually got your hand on the records that gave us this information.
Yeah, that's right. This is just the latest in the long list of problems at the county clerk's office. So apparently we're hearing that county clerk Wanda Halbert hasn't paid rent at her branch in Millington. Get this. Since 2023. The city manager telling us she now owes Millington taxpayers more than $30,000. We know she entered into a lease at that.
This is why the young folk want the old folks to sit down. She's probably fairly young. She's probably about 40s, mid 40s. We know this is somebody's auntie. This is somebody's auntie. And she always daggone makeup on. How you not paying your bills at this office? So she owes taxpayers. Owes taxpayers. That's why these buildings are raggedy, they janky, and these folks are probably riding around living in Collierville, which is Collierville, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, and Collierville are the upscale areas, the very nice areas. If you live in Memphis and you want to live really, really swanky, really, really nice, you move to Collierville. That's where the white folk at. That's where you move to. But yeah, she ain't paid $30,000. Where's that money at? You can't say where you get a budget. See, the problem is we are so far removed from that. Well, you never know what happened. Maybe she got people. No, you get a budget. You get a budget, and you're supposed to take the resources you get and handle your budget to that resource. And if you get surplus and stuff like that, then you can do maybe bonuses for the staff and things of that nature. But you get a budget. And based on how you perform, it determines the budget for next year. If your performance shows that, hey, we need more funds allocated here because we're doing more, then your budget changes and increases. But if you ain't doing nothing, like you just the audacity, bro. That's what give me, bro. And I wouldn't play with nobody money like that. Not with money like that, because when they find out where you put it at and what's going on with it, you talking big number. You talking possible football numbers, especially if you got melanin like this. You talking about football numbers. They gonna lock you up. They gonna make an example out of you. They don't care about her being a woman. And she didn't care about the people, so I guess it don't matter, huh?
property, but the term expired in December 2023. For the past few years, Halbert says that location operated month to month without a formal agreement. So we just got a copy or a statement from the Millington's city manager. He said, quote, "Too many Shelby County residents have lost access to services because of the failures of the county clerk." He went on to state, "We will not close the doors on Shelby County residents, but Millington taxpayers will not be taken for granted." So this afternoon, the clerk's office in Whitehaven remains closed. Last we heard this morning, the landlord is still wanting to get some response from the clerk's office so that they can get in there and assess this damage of this alleged mold that they're hearing about. But guys, we've been following this one and we're going to keep sending out emails, but this would be the third office since 2020. They're the third branch that is closed. I looked back at some records. We had 2020, we had Germantown.
Yep.
2023, we had Poplar Plaza. Now this Whitehaven location, and then Millington.
And now, depending upon what Millington does, I was trying to do the quick count in my head, but you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Something
we'll have to wait to see.
I was about to say something I know you guys are staying on top of. They are waiting to hear from the clerk's office, and so are we. So is WREG. We've reached out to the clerk's office, in fact, for comment, and we're still waiting for a response.
They ain't get no response. They not finna get no response, people family. Y'all know what that is. Y'all know exactly what that is. You playing with folks, playing in folks' faces. That it is so disheartening. But it's been too commonplace to have somebody who looks like you vouch for him, you're like, I'm gonna rock with him, you put him in office, and then they pull some BS like that. You literally are paying your taxes and you trying to get everything done you need to. You got a building with mold in it. How old is that building? Has the building been properly maintained? Have you been paying people to quote maintain the building and they don't step foot on the premises? Huh? Oh, because we finna get into that, B1 family. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back. We ain't done.
Of apathy and carelessness within the Memphis Shelby County school systems. There is at no level an expectation that things are done right. The Board of Education, the leadership in the school system does not now and has not ever exhibited an expectation that things are done right. There is a major lack of accountability across the Memphis Shelby County school systems. Large portions of the forensic audit is not even done yet. But in my opinion as comptroller, this is the worst management of any organization I have seen in my career. I would say, in fact, that it is unprecedented for an organization of this scope and size. I have with me in the room right over here, Brian Birkland, who is now Director of Local Government Audit in the Comptroller's Office. Brian, you've been here 45 years, and you have said to me, this is the worst you have seen in your career. Years in the room right over an organization of this scope and size. I have with me in the room right over here, Brian Birkland, who is now Director of Local Government Audit in the Comptroller's Office. Brian, you've been here 45 years, and you have said to me, this is the worst you have seen in your career. This audit outlines a school system that is extremely dysfunctional. Let me give you one example of a contract we found, or CLA found. In the Memphis Shelby County school systems, they hired a consultant, a mentor principal, to provide mentoring in the school system. We had a situation where they invoiced for 32 days of work in December. Well, you might say, well, December only has 31 days. But in fact, there are only 13 school days in December because of Christmas break and things like that. Yet they're billing and being compensated for 32 days of work.
Family. You can't make this up. So You only in school half the month. And they're so sloppy and so used to just doing what they want to do. You bill in the month, you're only in school for 2 weeks. And then when you bill for more days in the month than there's literally in the month. We got to get these folks out of office, bro. We got to get these folks removed on all levels. On all levels. These folks got to go. We have to have grassroots people in these positions. But these folks play with the money and play in our face and then watch us get pushed out of cities we've built, of cities we made popping. They sit there and watch it happen, and then they participate in it. They know it's happening. They like, well, let me get they come to us like, hey, yeah, we really go, yeah, black, black, black. I'm black too. I can do, you know what I'm saying? I can do a little two-step, you know what I'm saying? Two-step, you know what I'm saying? I can do my little, and then get in office and let me get what I can get and F these niggas. Let me make sure I can get me a couple bags out of this before I go, and I'm going to chunk the deuce on them. That's how they operate. And I love the fact that we have delineated and we moved in a way that has said, yeah, I don't care about your skin color, bro. You ain't gonna like me. But you're gonna respect me. And you have policies that benefit me, or you don't get my vote. And this is why the Democrats going to continue to crash and burn, because they keep doing bullshit like this. They keep appointing people who are permitting who are doing permits for air pollution. They are putting people in position that aren't fighting back against none of the stuff that's going on that's harming us. They aren't putting any policies in place to protect us. And then when we say, hey, look, we need reparations, we can take care ourselves. They saying, damn, there, we finna give it to the illegals. Nah, we can't let that rock no more, fam. That's crazy. That's crazy. You are that sloppy, and you're scheming and scamming that you don't think, hey, kids only in school for 2 weeks out of the month in December, and it's only 31 days. So I'm not even going to go charge for the whole month. I'm gonna add extra day. That's wild.
We have other instances where they're finding many contracts valued at $99,000. It perhaps is just a coincidence that the bid limit is $100,000. We have a lot of curious things going on. 1 out of every 10 students in Tennessee are educated in the Memphis Shelby County school system. They have an abysmal educational attainment rate. If things are so bad in the business and operational side of the school system, it is easy to understand how that extrapolates to the all-important educational side of the office.
Which is true. My kids hate school. They hate the schools here. They hate it. I'm trying to get them in the Memphis School of Excellence. I need to go by there and check it out. They hate it. But then again, because I was always trying to, I was like, it can't be that bad. You know, family, you want to, it's like, it can't be that bad, right? But then the audit comes out and you see how they're moving at the board level, which is responsible for the structure of the schools, the educational, the curriculum, things of that nature, along with the superintendent. And you see how abysmal they are with what they got going on. And it seems like they're more concerned with making sure money comes in so they can funnel it to allegedly people they know, their little homies or whatever, folk they cool with, so everybody can ride around in Audis and Benzes and stuff like that, while the kids are getting a piss poor education that focuses on, and I'm not telling you what I've heard, I'm telling you what I know. The focus is testing. I come from Fort Worth, Texas, funky town where they get up to get down. When I was in school, we had one of the best curriculums ever. We had Dr. Thomas Toko, who was our superintendent. He was not black, but he knew what he was doing. He was such a damn good superintendent. Other school districts were trying to pay him double his way. They was trying to do whatever they could to get him pulled away from Fort Worth ISD. We had a quality education and the quality educators back then. Because at the superintendent level, at the board level, that's what they were concerned about. And so most of us passed the task test and all that stuff that the state required examinations. We did damn good. But it started at the top. As you see here in Memphis, and yes, the board is mostly black folk. At the top, they're trying to get some money. They are leveraging your child's education or lack thereof to line their pockets, allegedly.
In order to expand on this more, I'll ask Folashade Abiola Banjak, who is with CLA, to come down and share more with you.
Now they will get a non-FBA to hop up here. Yeah, she's black skinned.
Good morning.
And you see the wig. You know how they do. You know the Republicans, man. If they stick a black person up there in front, hey, look. She said it. We don't do flat blackness no more, so she don't get no pass. However, the information that's in here is alarming. I'm gonna let her talk this entire time. We're gonna go back through it, and then we'll get to what the state representative says, which is also in this clip, in this video. So if you want to know and see it for yourself and go through it, ABC 24 Memphis. It's 2 weeks ago. Not enough views. Not enough views. Now, one thing I'm going to have to call us out on, we got to get more political. We have to at least know what's going on. And then maybe, once again, maybe black folk in Memphis wasn't privy to this. Maybe because they got to work 2 or 3 jobs. Maybe because they're having to deal with air pollution. They wouldn't even think about this. So I understand that aspect of it. However, to have that change, I will gladly put this at the forefront, my people, so y'all know what's going on here in Memphis. I live here. It affects me too. I'm not finna let this ride and just be like, oh, hey, well, I don't live on that side of town. Nah. Y'all my brothers and sisters, y'all my cousins and all that. So we're gonna rock. My kids out here with your kids. All right.
My name is Fola Abiola Banjak, and I lead the Forensics, Litigation, and Investigations.
Hold on. Let me look this one. Why she's hold on.
Good morning. My name is Fola Abiola Banjak, and I lead
I'm gonna let this play, but I'm gonna
the
look
Forensics, Litigation, and Investigations practice here at CLA. I'm joined with my colleague, Myrtle Sharma, who is the Managing Principal of the Tennessee office. Today, Clifton Larson Allen, CLA, submitted an interim report prepared at the request of the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasurer. We reviewed the financial practices, governance, and operations of Memphis Shelby County Schools. The interim report reflects work conducted pursuant to the engagement authorized by the Comptroller and outlined in the engagement letter dated July 28, 2025, as subsequently expanded. The procedures performed to date are part of an ongoing forensic audit designed to evaluate risk, identify potential irregularities, and assess governance, compliance, and financial practices for fiscal years 2022 and through 2024, as well as to evaluate the district's current internal controls environment. As part of this work, CLA has completed the internal controls assessment and the IT cybersecurity risk assessment. These 2 assessments identified multiple control weaknesses and deficiencies. CLA's forensic audit work is ongoing, as stated by the Comptroller, and includes transactional testing, document review, interviews, and analytical procedures focused on identifying potential fraud, waste, abuse, noncompliance, and other irregularities. The preliminary results from this report have identified potentially more than 1.1 million in waste or abuse attributable to weaknesses in management, oversight, and internal controls. In addition, CLA identified more than 1.7 million in transactions processed that are potentially in violation of district policies and procedures. These represent internal control and documentation deficiencies. It's important to note that our findings, our interim findings, have also observed that with the high level of leadership and staff turnover, coupled with the lack of documented policies and procedures and the erosion of institutional knowledge, they've resulted in a systemic challenge with record keeping and documentation, a challenge that we've faced throughout this engagement. Additionally, CLA conducted a preliminary investigation related to the Whitehaven STEM building matter. That work identified the absence of a formal agreement with the district related to approximately $885,000 of remaining funds in the Whitehaven STEM building account held by SchoolSeed. In sum, CLA will continue its work from a forensic audit perspective. As the comptroller stated earlier, we are only 25% done from the contracts testing, and we have approximately 75% to go. And with
25% done. And this is how much they found. Now, real quick on this sister, and I'm not trying to tear it down, nothing like that, but I just like to know who we're dealing with. I found her. Folashade Abiola Banjak. So she's married. She has a hyphenated last name. Of course, she's not us. Because you wonder why they would get who they would get. Well, you know, they have to make sure they got one of theirs, which in this case, I like it. This works out. Because more than likely she doesn't have a camaraderie with us. So she's gonna throw whoever she throw on the bus. And considering the harm they're doing to Memphis, allegedly, we need that. So sometimes we got to let the devil do his due to get the truth. And yeah, when I say she probably doesn't have any camaraderie with us, she probably doesn't. So I click this, and then the Eagle Online. This is 2013, September 7, 2013. Not the best picture, but that's her. That's her husband. One of the daughters of late politician Basharun MKO Abiola, Folashade Abiola, has exchanged marital vows with the foreigner, Sardan Banjak. Abiola, a legal luminary with the U.S. Treasury, on September 1st, 2013, walked down the aisle with her American-born beau, Banjak, in the United States of America. The traditional wedding had taken place on August 31st. Folashade is the second daughter of the late politician, marrying a foreigner. Hasfat Abiola first got married to a foreigner, Costello, in a high-profile wedding abroad some years back. The new groom to Abiola's family works in the American Senate. Okay, so she got a foreign white man, and he got a little bit of power. So yeah, they hold on. I'm sorry, I'm not even showing the screen. I'm sorry, family. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that. I gotta click each screen and make it share. But here, MKO Abiola's daughter, Folashade marries American. Let me load this up. That's her. Distinct nose, facial features. That's her husband, Sardan Banjak. They got married. Her sister, Hasfat, right here. First got married to a foreigner, Costello. So yeah, this is how they move. So they make sure they got the one that's gonna do what they need to do.
With that 25% completed, we've identified 1.1 million in contracts that have been classified as waste or abuse. This interim report is intended to inform stakeholders of observations to date and does not represent final conclusions. The final conclusions will be provided in the coming months. In sum, we ask that all questions really are answered in the 322-page report that we've presented. That includes all 3 volumes, the internal controls volume, the digital assessment, as well as the interim forensic audit. Thank you.
There you have it. Now I got to get that audit. I want to read it for myself. However, let's go down the road. Let's go down here.
Wow.
Wow.
Thanks for sticking with us here on 24 Plus with Kevin Mayer.
I'm Yvonne Cooper. We're alongside our political analyst, Otis Sanford, that's joining us to talk about what we just heard. Otis, this was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Your first initial thoughts of what you heard?
It was a bombshell here. The report, even though it's only 25% complete and only covers the years 2022 through 2024, it releases information that is really detrimental and damaging to the school system. As Randy McNally, the Lieutenant Governor and the Senate Speaker, said, it's the worst he's ever seen in all of his years in state government, and that's a long time.
He knew about it, and now he's saying something. What I was just saying earlier, the Republicans will let the Democrats cause all calamity, chaos, confusion, and just let it basically almost crumble to the ground. And then swoop in like, okay, cool. Now that it's bad enough, we finna point the finger so we can come in, swoop in, and we're going to fix things. But when they fix things, they're going to bring in their people. They not finna, come on now. They not finna elevate none of us. They not finna elevate. If they do elevate any of us, it's going to be like Miss Abiola Sanjak. Proven, vetted. We got to make sure you ain't going to upset the apple cart, sweetie. Young man, you can't upset the apple cart. We got to know who you is. That's how they run. And you see it right here. Look, this is Memphis, Tennessee. They're doing the same play that they do on the federal level, here on the local and the state levels. It's a dirty game all the way around. And we have to be cognizant of what's going on so we make sure we're in these rooms and in these places and be able to have our input and our say, yeah, well, no, we want the school, we want the schools to be fixed, but we don't want you bringing nobody in and displacing us here in Memphis. So yeah, we need to see what y'all got going on, see what your policies, see what you're finna implement, and see if there's any wording that's trick bag language. Hey, we're finna do this, this, and this, and this, and then we're gonna, and this, and then some type of open-ended entity is gonna get brought in. Like, well, who is this open-ended entity? Is it local? Well, we can look at that. What you mean we can look at that? Is it, if it is it or is it not? Yes or no? We're not letting any more maybes be put up in the air for us. We can't afford that. I need to know yes or no, yay or nay. Storm. I don't want to hear anything. Look, I get it. However, sometimes in the grand scheme of our future, we have to let the devil do what he's going to do. Yeah, we know, but we know he'll do something to us, but we know that. So we know how to handle him. We've had too long of a one-sided relationship with the Democrats that sometimes it's hard for us to see a black person who's Democrat and not be like, hey, look, I got to put your feet to the fire. I got children to think about. I got grandchildren to possibly think about and great-grandchildren. I got to think 50, 60, 100 years from now when I'm dead and gone. So sometimes we got to let them do what they do and say, okay, now that all the chips are out on the table and now all the evidence is presented, Democrats, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear get ready for Nobel what they said about slavery. Get ready for You might want to rephrase that sentence. I don't understand that sentence. I don't understand that sentence. Help me understand. Because I was listening, I didn't hear anything about slavery per se. But back to what I was saying, we have to let this happen. We can't save nobody because we see they're not trying to save us. They're not trying to do nothing for us. You allow permits on temporary gas turbines. Now there's a Colossus 2, which has more gas turbines, putting out more pollution. And now the NAACP is trying to pop themselves out because now who's it affecting? Storm, you get ready for them to say do. To say no. That's fine. We don't care about you. I don't know if you meant to say no, but that's fine. We're gonna put everybody's feet to the fire. That's right, Zero brother. You are absolutely correct. We can't save everybody. We can't. I refuse. Look, if I gotta hold your hand and drag you to want to do better, I'm letting you go. You're dead weight. For those who believe in the Bible, you're like a millstone. For those of us who want to use a more modern colloquialism, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And here's my thing: if I gotta drag you to come to the water in the first place, I'm gonna leave you right there. We are leaving dead weight behind. And we don't care how much you have done in the community. We respect it and we appreciate it for it. But once you flip and decide you want to be a cancer, we got to cut you off because cancer will spread. Cancer will spread. If y'all ever see me on here get the hominid and hemming and trying to and pulling the conscious lead for the Democrats, you supposed to cut me off. I need to become a pariah. Persona non grata. Shout out to my Black Universe for the work he has done. However, brother, you off code, and we calling you out. And you call me out, and I still well, that, man. Look, man, we just gotta understand Democrats coming from a different lane. It's a different time. Hey, bro, hey, do me like we did 19 Keys. Doing this is the only way to make sure we cut out the weak. We cut out the infiltrators, the ops. Once we see you on Democrat time, you on shield time and not on code, we cutting you off. We got to. We can't afford nothing else. We can't afford you come here and half stepping. Well, man, I'm on code kind of a little bit, maybe sometimes. I'll be on code 3 days this week, 5 days next week. No, if you're on code, you're on code. If you're not, hey, we love you, fam, but we gotta love you from afar. We need you to stay over there. Because you're gonna mess up what we got going on. You're gonna come in like cancer, you're gonna come in, you're gonna get somebody here, man. I don't think it's gonna work. It's starting to instill in doubt and disperse the energy. We can't let that happen. We can't let that happen, man. I refuse.
And everyone who spoke, including the young lady from the auditing firm, they were clear that there is unbelievable waste, fraud, and abuse there. Now, let me say this now. The school district budget is $1.9 billion. And even though it was only 25% done, they identified 1.1 million in waste and abuse and 1.7 million in other problems that involve lack of compliance. So some defenders of the school system will say, well, when you have a $2 billion budget, that's not a lot, especially after the state spent $6 million to look into it. So, I mean, but still, even if you try to defend it, it's a damaging report.
No, that's a great point.
Which he just tried to do. He's trying to play both sides of the argument, brother. That's for white supremacy. You can't play both sides, brother. I'm sorry. You trying to save your career, or at least I think you're trying to save your career, but still trying to, you 1.1 ain't that much. It's enough. Out of 25%, that's enough. We also have to remember they said, hey, we've been trying to get these documents information, and they ain't not turning nothing over. That's when you're trying to doctor something up. You're trying to make sure, hey, look, damn, man, let me see if I can shred this. Dang, I can't shred it. That's obvious. You start shredding paperwork and it just come up missing. That's obvious. That's super obvious. And he's trying to play both sides. You can't do that. I'm sorry, you can't. Yeah, we finna come up on these two political individuals, and we finna find out who they are. And it's interesting. One of them's position is very interesting.
Board member, so many items in there that are significant. You got to wonder where the school district goes from here. I know we're going to have some kind of response that's possibly happening that we are going to right now.
I think they're ready. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and listen in.
Okay.
Parents in our communities. We recognize that there is a difference between the educational attainment and the back of house structure within the school system. We also recognize that this audit covered a period between 2022 and 2024. The Memphis Shelby County Schools has unfortunately had a significant amount of transition in leadership. And we also recognize that we have a new superintendent and we have a new school board that is entirely separate from the majority of what was covered during that audit.
We're gonna look at that school board, but not everybody on the school board is new. We'll look at that in a second.
We recognize that 25% of the audit has been completed, and the findings that potentially could be waste or fraud, nothing criminal has been found thus far, no fraud has been found thus far, represent less than a percentage of 1% of the budget of Memphis Shelby County Schools. We recognize that Memphis Shelby County Schools is still a level 5 TVOS and has exhibited growth consistently, and aligns with the majority of school districts across this state who have not seen such attention or promise or threat of intervention. Are there problems in the back of house? Yes. Their human resources probably needs to be completely redone. Their financial controls are antiquated systems that need to be redone. Obviously, they have some issues with the networking and IT.
All of your documents are behind a curtain, not a lockable door. Maybe they have some issues, ma'am. So if I get in the building and nobody is there to stop me, if I'm in the main building for the school board and I just happen to walk past it, I can just fling a curtain open and walk in and just have my way with the documents and see what's going on. That's the level of protection you have?
That is completely separate from the experience that a child has in a classroom.
And look at her name, B1 family. Senator Ramesh Akbari, Democrat. We're going to learn about her.
I think that's what we've lost sight of. We've lost sight of the real issue here, and that is making sure that our children are in an environment where they can learn and grow and where it's community driven. The Achievement School District was not successful for many reasons, but part of it was because there was not a lot of community collaboration. It was the state coming in and telling the community what they needed to do. And so what we're hoping moving forward is that this discussion can be collaborative, that it can be centered on boosting Memphis leadership, not replacing Memphis leadership, that it can be centered on providing the tools that the school system needs to be able to achieve, not just in the classroom, but also in their administrative buildings. And
she sounds just like a Democrat, don't she, family? Don't replace nobody. Don't replace nobody. Let's get it together. Let's empower them. What were they doing this entire time? Here's the thing: we don't need people to do the job when people are looking. You're supposed to do the job, period. That's the point of you being in that position. I am a diagnostic imaging engineer who works on equipment. I'm not supposed to halfway fix the equipment or fix the equipment when my boss is looking on my shoulder. I'm supposed to fix the equipment when the call comes in. If I see something that can potentially be wrong, I'm supposed to notate that and say, hey, all right, we might need to order parts such and such in the back channels. So if it happens again and I'm off, my fellow engineer doesn't have to go back and do a whole bunch of troubleshooting from the beginning. I'm supposed to do the work that I'm supposed to do. They're paying me a certain amount of money to be at a certain level. and do a certain quality of work without them watching me. Oh. Oh, brother. Oh, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna read about her. She ain't the only one we need to watch out for.
Honestly, I think before we point to Shelby County Schools, Memphis Shelby County Schools is such an example, we really have to ask, why did they receive clean audits for the past 3 years from the comptroller's office, right?
Because they weren't sharing the documents that they needed. I'm not caping for the Republicans at all. I'm not caping for nobody. But if you're withholding documentation, you can make it. You can cook the books. Real quick, B1 family. I started as a biomed before I became a diagnostic engineer. So biomed, we deal with all the general hospital equipment, like your patient monitors. They hook you up to beep, beep. The little SpO2 sensors that they put on your fingers, the blood warmers, all that stuff. The general that's sent around general patient care. I worked on. And one of the first companies I worked for had us in Oklahoma, and the previous team was not doing the electrical safety checks like they were supposed to. And how we found out is I was doing the electrical safety checks. And when boss, he said, "Hey, you all right?" I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like, "Come look, I just checking your work so I can report. And I don't see where you're doing the safety." I'm like, "What do you mean? I've covered 10, 15, 20 pieces of equipment and put the proper stickers on them." Come to find out, my checks from 2018, 2019 were going on the previous 2017, going into 2018 years. They were cooking. They were just putting stickers on stuff. I guess it was like, it turns on, it works, put a sticker on it. So it showed when I did the check in 2018, because I started in December, so really 2019. It showed when I did the check in 2019, but it was going on the previous year because they were not doing the work. So you can finesse the books. If you've been there long enough, you know how to cook the books and make it seem a certain way. The only problem is when an audit comes along, that's when they do a deep dive. So what she talking about, I ain't trying to hear it.
We rely on those audits, and I think it was probably a failure in a vendor. But this is not just a Memphis problem. It's a whole system that potentially has led to the point that we're in now. So we take this information very seriously, and we think it's important that this information is used to correct a problem, not to punish a group of people. This should not be partisan.
If they are using the funds illegally, that is a crime. If they're using the funds other than what they're intended for, that's a crime. That's my taxpayer money. That's fellow Memphians and fellow, I don't care if you're in Collierville, Cordova, Lakeland, Oakland, Bartlett. That is fellow Memphians' tax dollars being mismanaged, misused, and possibly going to other people's pockets, creating a better life for them while the children are getting a trash ass education. I'm sorry for cussing me on family, but you're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
It should not be political. It should be deeply rooted in policy and partnership.
It should not be political, but it should be deeply rooted in policy, politics. I'm sorry. Policy is what drives politics. And politics is about implementing policy. But she's a state senator. Okay.
And that is what I am aiming for. This is my 13th year in the General Assembly. I've been on education all 13 sessions. And
so this was approved by you. Didn't that gentleman just say the General Assembly set this up? The white bald dude? So you were on that when it was going down. Now it's possible. I don't know. Do you have some illegal dealings going on? Did you get chipped off to look the other way? I'm wondering, because you were part of that. See, I didn't hear this the first time. I didn't catch that the first time. I'm catching now because I've been through this, and that's why I was like, let me gather all my information on this woman.
Constantly, it's been one thing or another. that our school systems have had to kind of adopt. And I hope that whatever happens here is something that is collaborative in nature and spirit with the elected officials from Memphis and Shelby County, the elected officials that represent the school system. And certainly, I hope that we can take the narrative out of it and just focus on the numbers.
The numbers are creating the narrative now. Because where the money disappeared to, that's the problem. Where did the money go? You got a budget. You spend some of the budget. We see where it's not being accounted for correctly. 32 days in a 31-day month, where students are only in school for, she's 13 years, which means she saw this happening. She's been a part of the General Assembly for 13 years, which means she saw what was happening and then do nothing. Now that there's an audit, now you want to jump. Hold on, wait a minute. We should work together and hold hands and participate with one another. I don't think people should get fired. Sounds like she's trying to save her buddies. That's what it sounds like to me. She's trying to save her buddies. These are folks she's been cool with, and she's trying to save them. She might have done some things and said some things or had some dealings and some family members, we don't know, that have gotten some contracts where they're supposed to do perform a certain function, and they show up at the building one time and say, "Oh yeah, okay," and then they dip, they skedaddle.
That the notion that Memphis Shelby County Schools has not been cooperative is not something that we've heard in our experience with the conversations that we've had. And so I think it needs to be less adversarial and more about advancing our school system. And
You had 13 years to do that, ma'am. Why wait now? It wasn't like you didn't have a big enough budget. $2 billion. Not 2 million. 2 million ain't nothing no more. 2 billion. 25% done. And we already see 1.1 million allegedly mishandled. Okay.
I will turn it over to Leader Karen Camper at this time.
Now, before we deal with the lieutenant leader, we're gonna go to this woman, and we're gonna learn about her. Senator Ramesh Akbari. Born the same year as I was. Okay. So we're the same age. She's 41. I go on Nashville address, and that's, okay, cool. Let's go to Wikipedia real quick. Ramesh Aleza Akbari. American politician and member of the Tennessee Senate for the 29th District since 2019. So she's been around a minute. She was formerly a member of the Tennessee House of Representatives from the 91st District. She currently serves as first vice chair of the Education Committee. Oh. No news. You're right, brother. We got these non-FBA folks, these tethers. We got to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. However, she got around in 2019. We weren't as hardcore as we are now. And unfortunately, cities that are predominantly Black, they may not have the brothers and sisters in it. They have the reach. Like, say, a Tariq, a Black Alpha, may be more apprehensive to the messaging until somebody comes in. And I'm here now. I'm not finna not say nothing. You're not finna sit there and be like, oh, okay, well, I make good money, I feel sorry for my people, but I got it now, bro. I'm not finna let you walk into a hornet's nest if I see it. Hey, bro, that's a hornet's nest. Don't walk over there. Damn what the Dems telling you. They setting you up. So now I'm here. Now I'm going to present this, and I'm hoping the B1 family shares this out with they folk so they know what it is and what it ain't. But she was formerly 91st District. She currently serves as the vice chair of the Education Committee, its first vice chair, and the member of the Commerce and Labor Committee and Ethics Subcommittee. She's a member of the Democratic Party, of course. Now, she had another position that had me say, she's a what? Hold on. Where's it at? Where's it at? Here it is. This is what I want to find. This is what had me say, oh, she really is not for the black folk in Memphis. Senator Ramesh Akbari is a prominent Tennessee leader serving as a Senate minority leader since 2023. Representing District 29, Shelby County, since 2019. She has previously said, we don't care about that. What is a Senate minority leader? What is that? Let's go find out what that is. Let's go find out what that is, B1 family. As of January 3rd, 2025, the Senate minority leader in the 119th District Congress is Chuck Schumer. So she was Senate minority leader at one time, serving as the leader of the Democratic caucus. Oh, he manages the party legislative agenda in the Senate, which is currently in the minority with 45 Democrats. Hold on. No. Hold on. Hold on. We need to know what's going on. And what does it do? What does this do? A Senate minority leader, she leads the Democratic minority in the Tennessee Senate, fostering policy development and directing caucus strategy. Fostering policy development and directing caucus strategy. She was elected to Tennessee Senate in 2019, taking office in 2019. She served 3 terms in the Tennessee House of Representatives. She serves as a Commerce and Labor Committee. I don't care about none of that. She is an attorney with a bachelor with a BA from Washington University in St. Louis and a JD from St. Louis University School of Law. Oh, so she know about policy. She knows how to, she's a lawyer. That's her background. Just for parents. And this is the problem. I love us, but sometimes we're too loving. Tennessee State Senator Ramesh Akbari was born in Memphis to Hushain Akbari, an Iranian immigrant. Now, what's going on with Iran right now? Isn't there a war going on in there? Huh. Who came to the U.S. in the 1970s, post-1960s civil rights fight, huh? When they say, oh, y'all didn't open up the door for us, y'all didn't do it. I'm sorry, didn't he come post us getting sprayed down water hoses, dogs, police brutality? Okay. And Lisa, or Louise Akbari, a Memphis native. Her parents are professional hair and scalp specialists, trichologists, who founded their company in 1981, which Senator Akbari helped manage. She has a fraternal twin sister named Ramina. Black and Iranian. No wonder she's the Senate minority leader. Who do you think she's worried about? The black folk or the non-black folk, the non-FBA? Let's go back. Let's go back to this because she ain't the only one. It's her partner in crime, so to speak.
There has not been one system.
Oh, hold on. We just had a senator. Now we have a representative
In this state that has been through what Shelby County school system has been through. From when the Memphis City schools gave up its charter to a demerger, an ASD, and legislation year after year after year after year pushed down on Memphis and Shelby County schools. Before the school system could even adapt to the recommended changes, there was something else that our children had to deal with, that our teachers had to deal with, that the administrivia had to deal with. So some of this we need to own in terms of the policy that's been pushed on the system. Every year, look back at the legislation. And it wasn't done collaboratively, which is what the leader just said. So if we really want to make change for the students, for the internal problems, maybe you can call it sloppy bookkeeping. If we want to change that.
You see how trivial she tried to make that? Maybe you can call it sloppy bookkeeping. You are in local government if you're part of the school board. You can't have sloppy bookkeeping. What do you mean maybe it's sloppy? You are not supposed to have sloppy bookkeeping. Your bookkeeping is supposed to be on point. You can't do that at work. For those of us who do service reports, I think my brother No News, I think you're a tradesman. You can't tell him, brother, you can't have a sloppy report, not giving detailed information, enough detailed information so the customer understand. Then on the back channel, more detailed information so your boss understand on a level that, a tradesman would understand. A customer wants to know, hey, what happened, why it happened, and what we do to fix it. With your boss and your fellow tradesmen, you could say, hey, these are the numbers I found. Here's the breakdown. This is where it happened. This is the possible, we had too much current come through. We had a power surge or a power spike from this. You can do that, but you can't go in there and say, oh, it was broken, I'll fix it, and then charge somebody some money. Let's flip it. You're getting paid a certain amount of money, and you can't tell me the money that you're supposed to be managing, where's it going to? Sloppy bookkeeping. We just don't know. We're not sure. What?
Let's do it in a collaborative sense.
They rehearsed this. I don't know who these three Negroes are. She kind of rubs her face. Why you turning your nose up? And he like, they dragged him out of bed. He looking, these are the yes men and yes women. But they talking about collaborative. No. So you can go and hide the information and documentation showing that it's mismanagement and misuse, possibly, allegedly, until the full report comes out.
Let's put teams together at the state level and the local level to really make the change that we say we want to see. Let's not rush to judgment on a 25% audit and pass some legislation that yet again, not one other school system or LEA in this state has been through what we've been through.
Because y'all let it become chaos. Which Republicans know about it? Like I said, I'm not going to give them I'm not giving them a pass. They saw what y'all were doing. They knew they could use it to their advantage. The problem is y'all were doing it in the first place. Like a brother No News said, where the Marion Berries at? Where the folk that we can have, especially in local government, that's going to stomp down. It's going to ride for us. Y'all get these positions, start doing these janky policies, start getting paid, and forget about the folk, and then come around with a fish fry or something and think it's going to be passe. No, we're not dealing with that no more. I need more than that. Damn, a fish fry, I can go fry my own fish. Why the school system like this? Where the money going? Why they only driving testing? Literally, They have what's called iReady here in the state of Tennessee. Well, they're here in Memphis for sure. It's called iReady. iReady. You get a text or a notification about iReady daily, Monday through Friday. They do call outs. Hey, we got testing. It's testing time. It's testing time, parents. Hey, parents, testing time. iReady testing. iReady testing. And you're like, damn. That's what they push. These kids aren't really learning. They're like, we're just trying to give you enough study material so you can pass this test so I can maintain the job. We used to learn back when no more fish fries. Damn, that we cool on that. We used to learn when I was in school. Now they pushing this, and you see, wow, they ain't doing right with the money. The teachers feel like, hey, they on pins and needles. I gotta get you ready for iReady. If I don't use iReady in the testing, I'm gonna lose my job. Now I'm gonna be stuck out at. And this is the leadership. And of course, the unfortunate part is Negroes look like us, not you. Negroes look like us. Well, I don't know about you either. But Negroes look like us. Right. Hold on. Let's bring. Yes, I remember that. They got caught up. The problem is somebody get one dumbass idea on how to cheat the system and think they're not gonna get caught. You are going to get caught. You're going to get caught. Ain't no cheating the system and think you won't get caught eventually, especially if you look like us. They watching. They are always watching. All because you don't see them don't mean they ain't watching.
And to have a level of expectation without that consideration is problematic to me. We agree things need to be done. We stand ready to help formulate what this could be.
She has been 13 years on the General Assembly. How come she wasn't doing nothing then? That's more than a decade, ma'am. The Senate and the representative, y'all literally see eye to eye. Quite literally, y'all same height. Why now? Why when there's a microscope or a what's they use, a magnifying glass put on you, now it's, hey, look, we're ready to help and do and be together in one big family, and we can make this work, but we don't need to be adversarial about it. Why don't you just do the right thing the first time?
We've always been poised and ready to assist and help.
But why couldn't you do? A representative can't get nothing done? A senator and a representative who see eye to eye can't get nothing done in their state, in their district? Really? See, this could fly if I wasn't here when I was literally riding around with a past due tag. And because they could see it, they wouldn't even mess with me. I got pulled over twice. One time I speed. But they wouldn't mess with me. Then the Republicans come through and stomp down on black folk. Hey, y'all need to get your tags. And these old dilapidated buildings that are getting shut down, because they only open I'm from Memphis and Thaddeus, man. Crypto. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, crypto gold. I'm not sure if you scammed or not. I don't know what's going on with that. But you see all these buildings that got closed down. Folks not paying their leases like they're supposed to. And they're only open from certain times. So if you work a regular 9 to 5, you got to either take off in the morning or in the afternoon to get to these places. And what if, imagine you finally take off, hey, all right, let me get this done so I don't get caught up. And you go in and boom, you find they closed or the building is shut down because it got mold. They don't just happen overnight. This happens over time. It happens over time.
But when you think you know what a problem is and you don't consult with the people that's experiencing it and you come up with a solution that doesn't fix the problem, then you really made it worse. So I think there's an ownership problem that the General Assembly needs to recognize in their role. And
she's right here. First vice chair, 13 years. She's right there next to you. Right there. Tap your shoulder.
what we're experiencing in Memphis Shelby County schools. This needs to be a collaborative effort. I don't think that the bill should pass. I think we should wait, because what I didn't hear enough of was what the actual auditor had to say. I saw some inflammatory words put out there. I heard a lot of rhetoric out there in some of the conversations that came from the stage. But we're looking for solutions for our system. We want our kids to do well.
What's hard about putting pertinent documentation behind a locked door and limiting who has access to it? What's difficult about that? Start there. Start with the simple things. That don't make sense. My personal stuff, you not finna just get to my personal stuff. I got certain documentation I got put up, hid away. You got to search for my stuff. I can walk in the building and throw back a drink. Oh, what's your name? Where you live at? How much you get paid? What?
Just like anybody else. We want the corrections to be made. But to have 3 clean audits, and then all of a sudden it's the worst in 45 years, I'm not believing that. Unless there was something missed before that they didn't have a chance to correct. And in their
Now she's talking doublespeak. I'm gonna say this. I don't believe that unless, let me keep it open-ended. That's what happens with politicians, man. They speak in a way where they always got to outward. They don't want to be stuck with a single driving point, which is that's a problem that the politicians of old had when we started coming down and we started asking them specifically about reparations. What is your stance on reparations? Now you can't. Oh shoot, I'm on the hot. Well, I don't support it. Okay, cool. Now we're done with you. Now they used to harm him. We need to have a study. We need to investigate that. Let's look at it. That's kind of what she's doing here. Let me not stick to my guns, particularly where you can hold me to it. I'm gonna say this statement. Then I'm gonna say, but unless there's something that's missed, you too high of a level to have that type of statement. You're representative, man. I mean, yeah, you're representative. Exactly. If they was really on the up and up, they should have been checking the books yearly with the amount of fun. Exactly. You're supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. That's a part of it. When you're at a certain level and you are responsible for a budget, your checks and balances, you're supposed to know where the money went. That's business. That's the basis of business. You need to know where your money going. Are we spending too much money over here? Are we not spending enough over here? I only got the associate's degree. Mind you, I have an associate's degree. I don't have a doctorate. I'm not Dr. So-and-so. And I understand that much. The crypto. Okay, Thaddeus Matthews, you talk about it. Isn't Thaddeus Matthews the cussing preacher? Is he from Memphis? I used to watch him. He used to talk about it. Okay, I might have to go find some of his stuff next time when more of the audit is done.
They're doing what they believe is the right thing because we've had auditors come in and not say to us that this wasn't proper.
Okay, real quick, yeah. Okay, Thaddeus is from okay, that makes sense. The cussing preacher. I mean, real quick. I remember he was calling out something. So you and that church full of sissies and those lesbian spirited women, you a sissy and all the men in your congregation are sissies, and the women are sissies too. They got a lesbian spirit. He called somebody out. That was so funny. That was funny. That was years ago too.
Or that you need these internal controls, that you need A, B, and C, and D. So there was a failure somewhere else too that we need to understand and recognize. And work collaboratively with the local system to move the district forward, to make sure our children are getting what they need, to make sure that we continue to grow. Our system is doing great. You heard.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's when you sitting up that high up and you off in the office away from the day to day. I can tell you it's not. I can tell you it's not. When your children are absolutely in the love or absolutely in love with the idea of not having to go to school, when they form these, like, they couldn't wait to be with their friends, they get to learn something that was cool. My kids are not motivated to go to school whatsoever. But then again, when you have a school that they got running on bare bones programs, I get it. And it's been happening for a while. It's not like it's brand new. It wasn't overnight. This ain't an overnight thing, man. What are you talking about? You've been around. You've been in office too long to let this ride. Now that your foot is being put to the fire, you want them to, hey, well, go easy. We can work this out. Let's have a come to Jesus moment where we can sort this out without it being so inflammatory statement like, and we can just really hold hands. It's what it sounds like. It sounds like holding hands and praying about it instead of getting things done. And I don't appreciate that. Y'all playing with people's money, and you playing in the Memphians, the local Memphians who've been here's faces.
Heard the leader? She gave the data. Yes, there's some internal controls that we need to put in place. Yes, there may be some risks, but we need to fix those things.
You just said that. You just mentioned that. You're saying it in a different way, but you've already said that. So you're repeating yourself because you have nothing else to say.
As we move forward. Questions?
All right. So let's look at who this woman is. Representative Karen D. Camper, Memphis, Democrat, District 87, part of Shelby County. This is who you can contact. Need to contact. State Representative Karen D. Camper, House Minority Leader. Okay. All right. Tennessee House of Representatives, 113 General Assembly. A Memphis native who served the 87th District since 2008, achieved historical significance as Tennessee's first African-American woman to lead a caucus in the state's General Assembly. So you're part of the General Assembly too. So how y'all didn't know about this? Elected Democratic leader in November 18th, she holds critical positions in committees such as House Finance, Ways and Means, Government Operations, Commerce, Calendar and Rules, Banking and Consumer Affairs, and the House Select Committee of Ethics. Leader Camper, a retired chief warrant officer with 21 years in the United States Army. Oh, okay. Boasts a diverse background as a former substitute teacher and music business owner. You were a former substitute teacher, man. You know how horrible it is. You know what's going on. I don't know when you were a substitute teacher, but it was in the last 15 years, I reckon. You know what's going on. You saw the decline. Engaged community service. Leader Camper is a former president of the National Organization of Black Elected Legislative Women and the immediate past president of the National Foundation of Women Legislators. Okay. She's also a member of the Tennessee Legislative Black Caucus. We know how these caucuses do. And is active in her church. Of course she is. Additionally, she takes pride in being a devoted mother to her adult son, Bruce Jr. She's divorced, by the way. Not sure why she's divorced, but she's divorced. So, yeah. So look up the Tennessee Waltz 2003. I'll get to that in a second. But I want to go back to what Barry was saying. Saying we have a whole new school board. Okay, well, District 1, Michelle Robinson McKissick, Natalie McKinney, Stephanie P. Love, Tamarcus Porter, Sable Ote, Keith Williams, Tawana Murphy, Amber Hewitt Garcia, Joyce Dorsey Coleman, Vice Chair. Okay, cool. I want y'all to see it. I gotta keep remembering sharing tabs. This is 2022 to 2023. Are we gonna see any repeating names? Because it's a whole new school board. It's a whole new school board. Michelle Robinson. Wait a minute. That's not a different name. That's not a different name. That's the same name. Hold on. So I'm gonna put them side. I can't see the side by side, but I'm gonna put them side by side so I can see it. Okay, District 1 is the same person. District 2 is the same person. District 3 is the same person. District 4 is the same person. District 5 is the same person. Oh no, hold on. Yeah, same person. District 6, District 7, District 8, and District 9 are the same people. 2022. Huh? Maybe she meant 2021. Maybe 2021 is different. (2021) Michelle McKissick is there. Okay. Now we got a different name. Althea Green. Natalie McKinney holds the seat later. Okay. Stephanie P. Love. Oh, still there. Miska Clay Bibbs is the chair. Shalia Harris. So the only 3 people from 2021 were replaced till now. But then you say there's a whole new. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not. Am I sharing the screen? Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. But I thought you said it was a whole new school board. It's the same players. Just you swapped out 3 of the starting guard for some new people. That doesn't change the makeup of what's going on. So the same people who fell in the school district in 2021, 2022, or fell in the school district now, 2023 to 2026. Okay. All right. B1 family, we are no longer going to allow anyone to come to us and push, well, I'm black, vote for me. I look like you, vote for me. Vote blue, no matter who. The Democrats are better than Republicans. Republicans are super bad. This is a Democratic city with 2 Democratic mayors. Yep, I said it. 2 Democratic mayors. Because I'm going to bring this to a close. So you have 2 Democratic mayors. You have a Democratic representative, a Democratic senator. You have Democrats signing off on permits that are poisoning the city. You have black folk who are literally, I've talked to brothers and sisters who live here, who I've worked around. Black folk who have been pushed to the outer edges of Memphis. And the only thing they can say is, hey, look, we need to try to work together, and that shouldn't be so adversarial. Why are we doing all this? We've been clean. We've been good. How come now? Y'all ain't been doing right by the city for a long time, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And when I say there's 2 mayors, I do mean what I'm saying. Does Memphis have 2 mayors? Yes, they do. That's why I said the whole Memphis political and government infrastructure is so convoluted. You have two mayors in Memphis. Yes, the Memphis area has two distinct mayors due to separate city and county governments. As of early 2024, Paul Young, which he's a character because he's married to a white woman. Yeah, he went to HBCU or whatever. That's cool, but he's married to a white woman. Is the mayor of the city of Memphis, running city services, while Lee Harris, the gentleman who appointed the health director for Shelby County Health Department, who's signed off on permits to poison the people, is the mayor of Shelby County, overseeing the broader county government. What's the broader county government? All cities within Shelby County. So Memphis, Bartlett, Lakeland, Millington, Arlington. Arlington has an old school feel, like a lot of red brick and mortar type buildings in the downtown. This is a super small downtown. Been through there, and it's money up there. They got some nice places. Colleyville, there's money up there. Germantown is okay. Lakeland got a little bit of bread. Bartlett's pretty cool. Roll through Millington. Millington is like the country. If you ever been to East Texas, it's like that, except it's more flat land up there than wooded tree area. And in Memphis, now why do you need two mayors? That's two incomes paid for by the citizens. And the mayor of Memphis ain't doing much of nothing. These are some of the raggedest roads you ever did see. Some of the raggedest roads you ever did see. So I just find this whole infrastructure quite interesting. Shout out to Black Love. How you doing, sister? When you look up information on new candidates, their background is not concrete. That right there is a no vote. Facts. It's not concrete. These folks are a trip. These folks are a trip. Watch, rinse, and repeat. It's happening everywhere Black folks are. These tethers are running us in the ground. Yeah. And then the Negroes who's supposed to be us are jumping from city to city. Remember, Dr. Taylor was over here in Memphis. She's in Baltimore now. And I'm hoping my Baltimore family see this. Y'all need to watch that broad. Watch her heavy. Watch what she don't do. It's not about what she does do. You need to watch what she don't do. These folk TVA puts in, agrees with something that big, and it gets built. So in the 1 year construction that they did it, nobody knew anything about that. Nobody knew anything about that. That's crazy to me. Either we need to start our own party or we need to start holding this party. We're holding them accountable. We don't need, no, we finna hold them accountable. The reason why we're not trying to start another party is because now that we see all the mishandling of funds and assets and resources that we're paying for, we can hold their feet to a fire. No, you did this. Your party is responsible. So when there's failures in the system, we can point to them. We can't say, oh, well, we got our own new thing we're trying to build up. We're not, no. We're finna make these folk eat their words and be responsible for their actions. And one thing real quick, I want y'all to see. I'm gonna look at we'll do the Tennessee Waltz, 2003. We're gonna look at that in a second, but I want to there's Mayor Lee Harris and Mayor Paul Young support XAI. Mayor Paul Young and Mayor Lee Harris have not support. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Have supported the XAI project, viewing it as a significant economic opportunity and investment for Memphis. While supporting the project, they have faced criticism from activists over environmental concerns, rightfully so, leading to recent actions to address pollution, including monitoring and reviewing the use of power turbines. Who appointed Dr. Michelle? We're going to bring it all the way around, family. To SCHD. Oh. 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 Hold on, people, family. Hold on. My bad. I keep forgetting. I gotta do this. I gotta share it so y'all can see it. Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris nominated Dr. Michelle Taylor, the same man who appointed the current Dr. Randolph, to be the director of the Shelby County Health Department in July 2021. Her appointment was unanimously confirmed by the Shelby County Commission in July 26. So he threw her an alley-oop at the beginning of July, and by the end of the month, she was in there. Started in August. So the mayor who nominated you, who supported XAI, knew about XAI, but you as the then head of, director of health, didn't know nothing about it until the public knew something about it. This is how they play in our faces, B1 family. This is how they play in our faces. Facts. No news, facts. But they playing in our faces, B1 family. And Crypto, I didn't forget what you said. I want to see what you're talking about here. This is a case, the Tennessee Waltz case. Let me pull that back up. Let's see how relevant this is. The Federal Bureau of Investigation. Bribery, bagman, crooked politicians, ethical lapses. All ugly terms that were part of the FBA public corruption case that began nearly 6 years ago and recently came to a successful close. This is 2023, family. Last month, the undercover sting known as Tennessee Waltz, coincidentally also the official state song, wow, ended where it started. A contractor working in Shelby County juvenile clerks. That's a lot. Hold on, fam. We got to stop. That's a lot. Shelby County Juvenile Court Clerk's Office, say that 5 times fast, was sentenced for his role in a corrupt invoice scam. Ooh, damn. Is history repeating itself, B1 family? Accepted money for work never performed. He was the 12th and final subject brought to justice in the case. Tennessee Waltz was a landmark investigation. It not only led to the convictions or guilty pleas of a dozen state and local public officials, including several state senators, a state representative. Is that why Karen is making the term she's using the term she's using? Is that why Ockberry is using the term she's using? Because this has happened before. They got stamped down on. 2 county commissioners, and 2 school board members. Notice that only 3 of them were swapped out. The rest of them are the same ones. But also to new state ethics laws, and the creation of an independent ethics commission in Tennessee. It began in May 2002, same year I graduated high school, so that's a while back. When our Memphis office opened an investigation into reports of fraud and corruption in the juvenile court clerk's office, one of the individuals was questioned. A well-known lobbyist who was consulting for the office admitted to wrongdoing and agreed to cooperate and wear wires to record conversations with suspects. Oh, he covered his ass. He's like, I'm not going to go. What I need to do to make sure I don't go? Cooperate. Okay. You need me to wear a wire? I'll wear a wire. Give me a wire. I'll wear it. What do you need me to wear? I'll wear 2 wires. Let me wear 2 wires. I ain't trying to go to prison. I don't want to go to prison. It wasn't long before our lobbyist was approached by an employee in the office who claimed to be a close acquaintance of several state legislators. The employee advised the lobbyist that he was a bag man for these politicians, and that in exchange for money, these lawmakers would vote on legislation that would benefit lobbyist clients. So our corruption investigation expanded from local government to the state legislature. In the fall of 2003, we launched an undercover operation to address what appeared to be a widespread public corruption problem. History is repeating itself. Mind you, this is over 20 years ago. As part of the operation, we set up a fictitious company that recycles surplus electronic equipment to third world countries. That should have been a red flag for anybody. I'm sorry. That should have been a red flag for anybody. Looking at that. If you guys comment, let me do this so if you guys comment, I can see it. Let's smush this down so I can see the comments as we go. So hold on, where was that? Fictitious company to other. Okay. We let it be known that we wanted legislation that would benefit our company, and we wanted exclusive contracts with local governments. Our undercover agents offered bribes to individuals who, based on information we had, we believe would take them, and they did. God, dog, boy, got served up on a platter. And then they told their colleagues, who in some instances took bribes as well. So, it's crazy. This has been happening for over 20 years, and we wonder, the Democrats wonder why we don't fool with them. Some of the corrupt politicians even introduced legislation that we drafted, but no legislation was ever passed. All told, we paid out more than $150,000 in bribe money by the time the undercover portion of the Tennessee waltz ended in 2005. So let's look at how much money that is in today's terms. Okay, it's similar. It's $157,000. Oh, I'm sorry, 150K. I'm sorry, in 2003. That's why I messed up. Okay, so $269,000, $195.38. So we 270K. So they paid about what would be today's money, 270K. The case, worked with the help of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, is one of our most successful examples today how we can use lawful, sensitive techniques like undercover operations to investigate allegations of. Yeah, cool. IB1 family, that's it. If you want to know why Memphis is in the state it's in, is because there's people who have been placed in office. There are people, the people voted for that they trusted. People that have been appointed on all ends that are okay with taking advantage of Memphians, and they're letting the city degrade and pretty much fall apart while they put money in their pocket. I'm not saying the Republicans are here to save the city. They ain't got black folk in mind. I don't believe that not one bit. However, the information they're uncovering is helping us understand that, hey, we are no longer going to be an emotionally based voter block. Tangibles. No tangibles, no vote. No policy directly for us, benefiting only us, no vote. We not for the support y'all giving money out and contracts out to all these ghost companies, to all these illegals, and everybody else, and then leave us to try to fend for ourselves. And they turn around and stomp down on us about tags and insurance and all this stuff. And your buildings, you can't keep up with the payments. They got mold in them. Or you walking with outdated technology because you refuse to update the computers because you're trying to pocket their bread, allegedly. And with that being said, B1 family, I appreciate all of you. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Share this with your people. And until next time, FBA all day and be one.